Hello and welcome to another episode of A Taco Opportunity. I'm Andrew, and with me today is Jose.
That's me.
And today we're going to be talking about the Matt Mercer Effect. This is the part where we play the music. Oh, God. Real professional.
So Andrew, the Matt Mercer Effect. I've heard about it. I've heard it being described. I read the Reddit post like yesterday. It's essentially, like everybody who watches TVs, movies, always has this high expectations for things to happen in real life.
Hmm.
And the internet is a whole other story when it comes to that. And people are always expecting way too much, right?
Right.
Then you have those people get interested on Dungeons and Dragons. And then they want to either DM or play on a table. And they go outside, they sit on a table, and they're out in the open in the real world. And what happens? Matt Mercer doesn't show up.
Right. I think before we really dive into this, we should probably like define what the Matt Mercer effect is. Which
I was trying to do that in that entertaining way, Andrew.
Oh wow, okay, I'm sorry.
Jeez. So the Matt Mercer effect, according to Webster Dictionary, it's actually not an official entry, but it's essentially when you have players and DMs kind of like, mainly players, expecting their DMs to be professional voice actors, have this, for the most part, unachievable level of performance, being expected on the table, and then they are let down by it when it doesn't happen.
It's not just performance, but also experience, and this is something that it's regulated to essentially new players or people that haven't played before.
That's true.
Because anybody that's been around since like the AD&D age knows that this is not the norm.
Yes. Yeah. No. You're and that is important because they didn't have the internet back then. Right. So everybody who got introduced to Dungeons and Dragons was, always expected the big brother who doesn't know any other voices other than the Irish accent or something like that.
Right. Well, should we dive into the Reddit post that actually talks about this?
Sure. Why not? You want to read it? You read better than I do, anyways.
Okay, so this is from the subreddit called r/DM Academy, by a user named Mr. -Builder, and the title of the post is "How do I beat the Matt Mercer effect?" And the post listing goes as such: I'm running a campaign for a lot of first timers, and I'm dealing with a lot of first timer problems. In parentheses, the one who never speaks up, the one who needs to be railroaded, the neutral good player who actually plays chaotic neutral, and the chaotic neutral player who actually plays chaotic evil. Lately, however, in parenthetical, lately, however, there's a new situation I'm dealing with. A third of my group first got interested in D&D because of Critical Role. I like Matt Mercer as much as the next guy, but these guys watched 30 plus hours of the show before they even picked up a D20. The dwarf thinks that all dwarves have Irish accents, which is not true. They have Scottish accents. And the Dragonborn sound exactly like the ones from the show, in parentheses, which is fine until they meet NPCs that are played differently from how it's done on the show, in parentheses. I've been approached by half the group and asked how I plan to handle Resurrection. When I told them I decided when we got there, they told me how Matt does it. Our WhatsApp is filled with Geek and Sundry videos about how to play the RPGs better. There's nothing wrong with how they do it on the show, but I'm not Matt Mercer and they're not Vox Machina. At some point, the unrealistic expectations are going to clash with reality. How do you guys deal with the players who've had DMs they swear by? And then the too long didn't read version is, Critical Role has become the prototype for how my players think D&D works. How do I push my own way of doing things without letting them down?
Easy.
Now immediately, well, first of all, this guy is already dealing with a slew of problems.
Yes.
Like even before the Matt Mercer thing came up, which unfortunately, sometimes that's just how the dice roll.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of those things are, first time players situations that,
Right, right.
those are those bad habits that go away with, experience.
Experience and time. And the thing about this is like, okay, imagine yourself, you've never DM'd a game before. You've heard of Dungeons and Dragons, maybe saw it on Stranger Things or something, which I feel is a more realistic depiction of Dungeons and Dragons. But like you've never really played a game before, so you pick up the starter set or, Dragons of Icespire Peak out now.
The Essentials kit.
Yeah, exactly. And you decide to run the level 1 through 5 adventure for your friends, and suddenly they're expecting like professional voice acting on top of like what's the word, like very narrative,
Preparation?
not just preparation but also like narrative payoff for their characters and stuff like that.
Oh, got it.
Because me personally, I haven't seen too terribly much of Critical Role. It's not really my bag, because it's more like I want to play. I don't want to watch other people play. you know.
Yeah. I'm going to
But
tell you a secret, Andrew.
Hmm.
I've never seen a full episode of Critical Role.
Me neither, but I have seen the highlights, and I can definitely pick up what they're putting down with it.
And a great example of it, and I think is, if anybody who doesn't want to sit through a 4-hour episode of it, is which is what I did. This is how I got introduced, was the D and Diesel, when they have Vin Diesel play D&D.
And there's another great video from Matt Colville that explains the actual climax of the first season of Critical Role.
Oh no, I was just saying that
this,
as an example of the Matt Mercer effect. Like, people see that and then they expect that it's D&D.
oh yeah, yeah. But anyways, getting back on topic. So these players who have, again, this is all seems to be regulated to new players. They are expecting their DM to just knock this out of the park, which of course is never going to happen. Little, baby DMs are going to be just as awkward the first time around as new players. So
I'm still awkward.
yeah, and I still am too. Like, starting off a campaign or starting off like a session is always the hardest part for me, which is why I usually just go like, all right, let's just do this thing.
Yeah, we don't have 20 years of experience,
No, exactly. And I'm not at all confident in any of the voices that I use and stuff like that. And I know whenever I do an accent, it starts to slip, and I'm like, oh god, I meant to go for Spanish, but now this guy sounds Irish. And so, but no, I just think this is a completely unfair, unrealistic thing, and I'm not saying Critical Role is a bad influence. Quite the opposite. But a lot of people need to understand that Matt Mercer is probably the closest thing to a professional DM outside of Chris Perkins. It's probably the closest thing to a professional DM that has existed.
Yeah, it's also not just a professional DM, but a professional voice actor. He gets
Exactly.
paid to make voices.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're doing that 100 as a profession, you're gonna forget the voice of the NPC you introduced 2 sessions ago. It's gonna change. Like, people cannot expect that level of commitment and professionalism on a regular Joe who has a 9 to 5 and then DMs for fun.
No, because it's like the old saying goes, like, what's it, to really master a craft you have to put 10,000 hours or
Right.
something into it. A lot
Yeah.
of
I'm only according to Roll20, I'm only 57 hours in.
actually I am according to Roll20, I'm wait, you're only 57? Never mind. We'll talk about that later. It's probably because it counts the time that like I upload music as like, oh, you've played this much. I'm like, not really.
Oh, I'm sorry, 130 hours.
Yeah, I was about to say, because I have like 80 something.
Yeah,
So,
no.
Anyways, well, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah,
Yes, mission accomplished.
Yeah, but no, like so you have to put 10,000 hours to master a craft. Most DMs, and by that I mean 99.99% of DMs have jobs. They have lives outside of D&D. Hard to believe, I know, but still. Um, so they don't have 40 hours a week to work on voices and to work on their notes and stuff like that. I don't know. I there needs to be like a PSA or something about this. you know?
Yeah, and it's not a bad it's not necessarily a bad thing because luckily it has introduced a lot of people to D&D because everybody wants to have that experience. And it's not a bad thing to have uh to have a goal or not a goal, I'm sorry, like a level to reach, a standard to aim for, like we all have that. And I feel like as a DM, having that and being like, oh man, I could keep track of my voices, or I wish I could like have the emotional payoff that some of these online campaigns have in the back of my head helps me become a better DM. It's just you have to have realistic expectations, like you just said, um, because real life is real life. YouTube is YouTube.
But this is just essentially the D&D equivalent of like going to a concert and watching a guy play an instrument. He's playing it really, really well, and it inspires you to pick up said instrument. But then you learn, oh wow, this instrument's really hard to learn how to play, and
Right,
that's when you kind of realize this dude does this for a living. So
right.
so yeah, naturally he's going to be way better at it than you are. So, and
Yeah,
I'm not
and
I'm not saying I'm not saying Matt Mercer does this for a living. I know he has a career, but like I said, this is probably the closest thing to a professional DM there is out there.
yeah,
So,
yeah, and everybody's more than welcome to aim to become the next Matt Mercer. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, and I keep saying this, and you keep saying this all the time, D&D is a hobby. It wants to stop being fun because X reason. Then what's the point? The whole point of D&D is to have a good time with your friends, create a story with your friends, and it is very intimate. Because all this stuff is shared imagination scenes, and it's all about the table and your friends. Once those friends start like expecting insane levels of preparedness or acting or voices and stuff like that, putting that pressure onto the DM who already has a lot of pressure, with
yeah.
all the prep and all the reading and all the. I mean, I cannot even begin to explain the anxiety that I get before each game.
DMing is hard, man.
The
I mean,
last thing on my mind is having an individual voice for each separate NPC. You
yeah,
know,
no,
and Matt Mercer is our Lord and Savior, and he's great because he introduced thousands of people to D&D.
hmm,
But all those people need to remember that again, he's a professional.
yeah.
If you want to give it a shot, and if he inspire you, because I'm not gonna lie, I I watched the D&D's old special on YouTube, and that's how I started. My first sessions, you can ask the group, was all awkward with trying to be like Matt Mercer and having funny voices and stuff like that when it
Mhm.
was my very first session ever. And it after a while I realized that it wasn't really necessary. It was more important to keep track of your players' advancements and the stuff that they pick up on, or the things that they want to see and explore, and deliver that.
Well, see,
Voices at the end of the day, they're fun, but it's not, you know, it's
it's
it's not
actually no,
essential.
no, and it's essentially just the icing on the cake. Which
Right.
yeah, you can eat a tub of icing, but you're gonna feel sick later. And there's actually a fantastic video by Matt Colville about this. I know I reference Matt Colville a lot, but you should watch his stuff. Anybody that's listening, and he talks about what true role play is, and what that is that he kind of explains it in dimensions. Like there's 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, so on and so forth. And like 0 dimension is where your character is just stats. That's it. Your stats and you hit things. Boom. 1 dimension is your character is a stereotype. 2 dimensions is where your character has a stereotype, but it's also might have a voice or something like that. And then 3 dimensions is where your character actually has depth. They have motivations and goals, and
Right.
and sometimes they have to recognize that sometimes those motivations and sometimes those goals are going to be conflicting with the rest of the world, or even like the rest of the party. And there's I'm trying to get the quote right, and he says like, yeah, you can go ahead and you can do the voice, but at the end of the day, that's not real role playing, and that is absolutely true. Like if you have a character that all he is just a voice, that's not real role play. That's just a voice. So
yeah, and again, it's not just the job of the DM to bring up the role playing to the table. Each player needs to have a little bit of that. I'm not saying that you have to dress up in voices, but it's I'm trying to what's the word, communal? No, together, like everybody's just building this thing together. It's not just a job of one single person.
it's like a cooperative effort.
Yes, there you go. That's the
Yeah.
phrase I was looking for. Man, you're
And
English so well.
I really don't. But no, that's I think if some people want to play D&D and they just want funny voices and a fun time, that's great. But there are also a lot of people out there that they want, payoff. They want like character motivations. They want conflicts, eternal and external. Eternal,
Yes.
internal, and external. Um, and with that comes with a lot of time and a lot of practice.
Yes. Yes,
And that is not something that you should really expect a first time DM to come up with.
or for that matter, even like an experienced DM who just does it for fun.
Exactly. There are some DMs out there that just, hey, you know what? Let's just fight some goblin raiders, and that's it. That's their idea of a campaign, and that's totally okay. But then there are some people that want to explore like, hey, let's do a deep dive into this character's backstory and have some real narrative payoff, and that's okay too. I think because in that Reddit post that we were talking about earlier, the very top response was from Matt Mercer himself, and one of the things he says is that every table is different, and
Yep.
and if one table is trying to copy like verbatim another table, that kind of robs the magic out of it, and it really does.
It's also not very creative either. Like, yeah, copying is fun if you're using it as a base, but the whole point of the game is to make it interesting and unique.
Hey,
how would you tackle this? Not how Matt Mercer will tackle this, or any of the other members of the cast.
And that's really something that you can tell just from like the source material, because the source material, I know you said it, and so I'm kind of confirming it here with what I'm dealing with, but the source material is not too terribly vague, but it is vague enough that you can kind of fill in the gaps and add your own little personal flair to it. So the idea that is if like, say for instance, you try to run Tomb of Annihilation, I don't know if they ever did or not, but if you ever try to run Tomb of Annihilation the exact same way Matt Mercer did, like, where's the fun in that? Where are the surprises? Where's the twists?
Right. And then like make it your own, man. Like that's the most important part. And I have talks with like my other DM friends and at work and stuff like that, and they're so interested on like talking about other DMs about how they rent specific parts of our shop. Like my friend Robert wants to talk to you about Strahd, and how you rent the specific things.
That's
And
to
that's
me.
kind of the whole point.
Oh, go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, that's kind of the whole point. Like just Make it yourself. Make it unique. Make it your own. Make it your table specific adventure. Not everybody's gonna take the same road the same way every time.
Right.
There's no point on that.
And to me, I feel like that's going to be a really fascinating conversation because there's a lot of things I took and like kind of twisted to where like this is the Andrew version of it, and there's a lot, not a whole lot, but there is certain things I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm just getting rid of this altogether. Um, but that kind of, that kind of leads into the whole like, oh, Matt Mercer's rules for Resurrection. Okay, those are Matt Mercer's rules for
Right.
Resurrection. Maybe some people don't want to do that. Maybe some DMs don't want to do that because, like, me personally, I want to run Resurrection to where if you want to resurrect a character, that's like a kind of mini quest in of itself. But some
Yes.
DMs don't want to do that. Sometimes they're like, yeah, sure, it's fine. You can just bring them back. You look in your components bag and you somehow find a diamond that's worth 1,000 gold, whatever. That's fine. You know, and that's okay. The thing about it is, no matter how you run it, as long as everyone's having fun, it's okay.
Right. Yeah, it's true. But how would you? Let me ask you this, Andrew. How would you deal with players who like are expecting or are under the Matt Mercer effect, and they come to the table, and you're running, at a local store, you're running the game, and one of the players is like, "Well, that's not how Matt Mercer will do it." Like, how would you handle that?
I would handle it is probably first with like a kind of like humor answer because I like to break tension with humor. And so someone's like, well, that's not how Matt Mercer does it. And I'm like, you're right. That isn't how Matt Mercer does it. And
That
so,
is that
you
is a
know,
classic response from you.
yeah, exactly.
Now I
But
know.
but then yeah. But then, but if they keep like antagonizing me about it, like that's something where you have to kind of take that player aside and be like, hey, look, man, like I never ran this adventure before and I don't have the same amount of experience as him, obviously, so let's just all just have fun, just kind of, just let's kind of backpedal here a bit, maybe kind of ease up a little bit. And then eventually, if he keeps going on about it, then I might just have to tell him to leave, or it'd be like, okay, well, they also deal with professionals too. So, if you want professional style DMing, I'm gonna need professional style playing. So,
Yep. That shut him up real quick.
and nine times out of 10, that's usually like the best response. Like, hey, look, if you want me to be Matt Mercer, y'all got to be Vox Machina.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah,
um,
because that's apparently you were telling me earlier that that's that's the other side of the token when DMs expect their players to be
yeah,
professional voice actors.
yeah, that is something I
Yeah.
never even knew existed because when I was looking up the Matt Mercer effect, there was a related search called the Vox Machina effect. I was like, what? And I looked it up, and it doesn't seem to be nearly as prominent as the Matt Mercer effect, thankfully. But essentially, what it is that it's the DM who expects the players to be as good as Vox Machina, which wholly unfair again.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like that's a bit, in a weird way, I feel like that's a bit more unfair because you, as a DM, you're expected to be a storyteller slash referee, but I don't, I never really expect my characters to try to come up with these like deep, intricate lores about their characters and stuff like that. And because that's not, to me, that's not really the point. The point is that your characters kind of grow with the adventure.
Right.
And so I just and like I said, in a very weird God, I can talk.
You can do this. I believe in you.
So in a weird way, I think it's more unfair for one guy to expect 4 or 5 players to act like that because that seems like to me that one guy just wants a show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I can see that. Which again, I didn't even have a clue, and I think I might have suffered from that a little bit at one point, just because I kind of wanted to, but that was more me just kind of like pushing our players to just think about in character. versus out of
Well,
character.
that's just one of those things. It's like that's something I recognize. Like if somebody wants more character like payoff, then I'll reward them with that. But if some people just want to play the game, then I'll just let them play the game. I don't, I'm not going to try to force them into anything.
Exactly.
But it's like because I can understand new players expecting the DM to do funny voices and stuff like that because they're the storyteller. But the whole idea that the DM expects the players to do that kind of stuff, it feels like a really strange power move. It almost feels abusive.
Like in a creepy, unsettling way, like
yeah, it really does. It feels like the DM's like, yes, dance for me, my puppets, like kind of a thing.
Yeah, well, that's news to me, man. I didn't even know that was an actual thing.
I did not know about it until like today.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like now, I will never expect my any of my players to be, you know, Vox Machina role playing dressed up. Because one thing I learned, if anything, is that each one of them is different. I do not ever expect our player Howard to be making a constant voice. You know what I mean? I will never expect Heather to be dressed up because she cosplays a lot. But I will never expect it to be like, oh, I made my character, like I'm gonna show up like this to every, like, no, that's weird. Like,
oh,
the only thing I expect from them is to be at the table and have fun. That's it.
Exactly. As long as we're all having fun, it's okay. And yeah, there are some people that are, more backseat than others, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
As long as they're not like, I don't know, on their phones or some shit, like while they're playing. That's totally cool.
That's another show. That's another episode for us. Like table manners. But like table etiquette. Yeah. But yeah. By the way, I've noticed that you've said if we're all having fun, then it's okay a lot this episode.
Yeah, because it's true. I feel like I need to reiterate that.
No, it's true. It's just it sounds like a slogan for something.
Oh, yeah, that's my personal slogan. So.
If we're all having fun, then it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, no, Mad Mercer Effect. It's an interesting phenomenon. Some people suffer from it. Hopefully, most of them get snapped out of it real quick and realize what well, I don't want to say real D&D, but like what most D&D is like.
I feel like
still stick with the hobby, Yeah,
I feel like that's something that like a quick talking to can probably just stamp out.
Right.
Yeah. And then
arcing back to our previous episode of session 1. Just a quick little, hey guys, I like doing voices, but I'm not gonna be, Matt Mercer level voices.
Right. Yeah.
And we joke about that all the time before every game, don't we? Like we're always like, oh, Andrew, I'm expecting, Matt Mercer level stuff. Like it's obvious that. I think like joking like that makes it obvious that it's not gonna happen. It's not a real thing.
And the thing about it is, because this is the first time I actually practiced a voice for a campaign, and even then I fucked it up.
I didn't even realize you fucked it up. So
it was the previous session that I started, like the accent started slipping, and then I really quickly covered it up, like, oh no, it's not me, it's the character. He's messing it up. I was like, I hope nobody notices.
Smooth.
Yes,
I remember that.
So,
because the character is not what it seems. It's more than what he seems.
He's an entertaining man with a monkey. What are you talking about?
Man.
Do you want to talk about session highlights real quick then? Seems how we're
sure. Yeah, let's go for it.
Now, did we
can start.
Did we have 2 sessions again between episodes?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember. Yes, I think we did. So, okay. What do you remember from the 3rd session?
The 3rd session.
It's a session after you guys get the I know you guys say tarot cards, but it's actually Taroka, but I'm not gonna
Taroka cards.
I'm not gonna be pedantic.
I remember we saw. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's just something like I remembered. I forgot to say the word Taroka. I'm like, yep, that's on me. So,
It's not your fault, Andrew. Why are you
yeah,
not like Mark Mercer?
I'm sorry.
But no, session 3, the third session, I remember we were on our way to Vallaki. We entered Vallaki. It was kind of awkward at the gates because we have a lizard folk and Kenku.
You had a
The main
Lizardfolk, a Kinko, and what looks like a dropout angel.
a dropout age. Yeah, exactly.
So
The
immediately the guards were like, "Nope."
nope, you're not coming in here. But no, the main thing for that one I remember was the interrogating the citizen who fucking almost beat him up.
Yeah, you mean you mean the North Korean?
Yeah, right.
You're talking about Valaki number one.
What is it called? Malicious unhappiness. Is that what it's called?
Yes, people can become guilty of malicious unhappiness and Valaki, and that is where you spread unhappiness willingly.
Oh man, that's what you do all day, every day, Andrew, with your music. But I think session 3, I think the furthest we got was the second talk with Rictavio. No, we
No,
went to.
no, you were introduced to Rictavio.
We
I
were
remember
introduced
that.
to Rictavio. Yes, we were introduced to Rictavio. We talked to the hunters, and we went to. Is that where it ended? I can't remember right now, dude.
Oh, you talked to Blinsky.
Blinsky, that was the main thing.
Then Lilith, for whatever reason, promised to break his wrists. Like the fact that he was a hostage, but that was actually something. That was actually something I'm like, do we need to talk about something here?
Are you okay, Lilith? Is there anything that you need to tell us?
Is something you want to get off your chest? Because like, wow, you came on really strong there.
uh, um, Session highlights for. So, what is the session highlight for the third session for
I
you?
would say, for me, I would say just meeting Rictavio.
Yes, I
Because
will have to agree with that. That was fantastic.
As I was practicing, I'm like, please, 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 please talk to this guy. Because like I had the music all laid out. I had been practicing on the accent for like the week before and stuff like that. And oh man, like I even told you afterwards, getting the name down was the hardest part for me.
Dude, can you say it again? I can't believe you actually remember.
Octavio, Don Carlos, Juan Pacifico, Maria Menendez.
How?
Well, that's my little secret.
That's a very Spanish thing to do, though. I'm not gonna lie.
And it was funny because the session afterwards, Howard's like, he has a post-it note. I'm like, I do not, good sir. I'm surprised.
How dare you?
Yeah.
No, I think it was great. Of course, my character fell in love with him, with Octavio. He believed every single word that he said, just because of the guitar, the Spanish guitar in the background.
Also, the poor insight checks. You were
yes,
rolling,
I rolled really bad. I keep rolling really bad on insight.
You were rolling like 5s and 7s on insight. You're like, I see absolutely nothing wrong with this.
Yeah. Oh man. But yes, for session 3, definitely meeting Rictavio was the highlight of that. Also, Blinsky was pretty fun too, and all the interesting toys. I will have to give props to Alexia or Kenku for stealing that doll. I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
We'll find out.
We'll find out next.
We'll find out.
How about the 4th session?
I would say personally, the 4th session highlight was this one really specific thing, and that is when you guys decided to go to the Baron's mansion just to kind of scope it out. And you did the whole, I'm just going to walk away, pretending to walk down the street, and then zip to the window. It was such a stupid move, but you rolled really high in your stealth check.
It worked.
Oh God.
And it worked twice, actually 3 times. Well, no, twice, and then I used inspiration on the third time.
Just like, it never fails.
I was just going.
To me personally, that was the highlight. Just that little 5-second window of you moving your token across the thing, like just to fake out the guards. That was the best.
Oh man. Yeah, no, that was I laughed pretty hard at that because I was legit just trying to like make it like, oh, maybe there's a bush or a tree around here somewhere and then pass it. But I guess the way my token moved,
You just like cut across the lawn in front of the guard, but his perception wasn't high enough, so he's like, "Oh, fuck it." That's probably just my imagination.
I'm seeing shadows again. Oh man.
It's dark out there. I'm a human. I can't see.
No. My favorite part of that session was after Rictavio got away, we went into the
yeah.
There we go. So the stables is filled with crows everywhere. Oh, ravens, right?
There's a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference with ravens everywhere. So we go up there. We're trying to find out, like, oh, what's around here? And there's a bunch of hay everywhere. And we roll to investigation to see if we find anything. And of course, I rolled terribly. But our lizard folk, Small Drags, and Lilith both rolled really well. And Small Drags found a hidden treasure chest, and Lilith found a hidden door. So I'm like, I'm gonna open the box, the treasure chest.
No. You say I'm going to hit the box.
No. I was like, I'm gonna open it, but then I stopped myself, and I'm like, wait, this could be a mimic, so I'm gonna tap it with my sword. And you asked us like, wait, you're gonna smack it or you're gonna like tap it? And I tap the box, and every single raven in that area just attacks Vesemir nonstop, and I keep rolling like shit. Oh, by the way, this whole time the human stays downstairs to like keep watch. So
yeah,
all he hears is a little kunk, and just like
the hundreds of birds just squawking and cawing at the same time. And then the best part about it is that when it gets to his turn, he says, "I'm just gonna go up the ladder, look at the chaos, and then just, you know what? This is not my fight."
It's just slowly like walking like, nope, I'm not part of it.
I'm not a part of this.
So I'm trying to like not hit the ravens because the ravens, they're sacred or good luck or something, So I don't want to start any shit with the ravens, even though I kind of already did. So I'm trying to bolt it for the hidden door. I'm like, Lilith, where's the door? She points to it, and the ravens are just following me. And through this whole chaos, Small Drag starts jumping up and bites into the what is it? A mystery of crows or
it's it's not a misery. It's like an unkindness, or there's something else. A conspiracy of crows.
Conspiracy of crows, and he just jumps and eats one complete raven.
Yeah. It's bad luck to kill a raven, so he just eats one.
So the whole time I'm just imagining, like a dog just jumping to try to get some doves or whatever, and then you have Lilith just kind of rushes like, no, put it down, and it starts chewing faster.
Yeah. What are you waiting? He starts chewing it faster.
Anyways, I made it out of the room because I didn't want to kill any ravens. So if anybody's cursed, it's Small Drags because he ate one.
Which will, that might or might not come back. I don't know.
Oh, okay. But that was for me the highlight of that session. It was so stupid. Like, why does this happen to me? Why does this happen to me?
Well, there's a reason for that, but I can't.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll become clear later on.
Yeah. So.
That was a good session though. And the funny thing is that we've done 3 sessions now in Vallaki, 2 sessions in Vallaki, and it's just been role playing and we've been in one town and like finding all the lore and all this stuff, and like I'm really enjoying that crap. Because usually for this group, I don't know if it's me, my DMing style, but like for this group, it's usually like, oh, we kind of know where we're gonna go, so we're gonna just leave town and pursue that one thing.
That's
But
actually that was actually something like I had to tell them like, hey, look, I know it's been really role play heavy. I apologize about that, but it's just because you guys are in town, and
yeah,
you
I'm
know,
not, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not hating it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little slow, but I'm
yeah,
enjoying the crap out of it.
yeah. So that's why I don't know. I'm trying to keep the pace up as much as I can, but I do realize that like yeah, it's a lot of role playing and not a lot of combat.
Yeah,
And I said there was an emphasis on combat in this one, so
but I think we're all on the same page though. We all know that we are in a town. We're just trying to figure out the mystery of the town.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I was trying to like incorporate as many roles as possible because I don't know about you, but I know I like to roll for stuff.
Yes, yes.
So like any reason I can find one, like yes,
Now
let's roll for it and see what
I
happens.
dig it because
So
that led my character to be completely oblivious to every single thing that Small Drax and Lilith were saying about Rictavio, and he was just role played it. Oh, I role played it as, it's like, no, you're lying. Rictavio's perfect.
Rick Tavia is like that one meme where it's like I have never done anything wrong in my life ever, and you're like I know this and I love you about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man. Yeah. Any other session highlights?
No, that's pretty much it for me. I feel like this is going pretty strongly still so far. And I do want to let you guys know it only really picks up from here.
Good.
So yeah,
I'm
so
excited.
yeah, so believe me, this is I know it's a bit of a slow burn right now, but it definitely picks up. So I'm excited.
And for anybody who is listening to us, you can watch our sessions live at twitch.tv/ a talk of opportunity.
Hmm?
You can see our faces and our voices. So it's even worse than listening to us.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can watch us all be awkward.
But it's great. Last time we had like 3 viewers for some reason. It was fantastic. I think it was just my phone and like Kristen's phone.
That's fine. That's fine. No. Didn't you say we almost had like 8 viewers or some crap like that?
Oh, that's right. No, because I posted it on the Dungeons and Dragons Facebook group, and if anybody wants to join, just they're very good source of a very good resource to have. I posted it there, and I didn't tell you that post got over 1,000 clicks.
Really?
I'm sorry, over 1,000 engagement, which means somebody saw it. So out of 1,000, we got 8 people to click through and watch us for at least 20 minutes. Not bad.
Hey, that's not bad. No.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think the peak was when we were at a store doing nothing.
No. That was a previous session.
Oh,
That
that was
was
the previous session.
that was when we were all at a store and we were looking at prices and stuff like that. For some reason, that's when everyone decided to jump in and watch.
Of course. Of
What
course.
what's like really quiet and we're all reading. So,
Yeah. But yeah, twitch.tv/ a talk of opportunity. Come watch us live. We are sometimes fun. It's a good watch. People say that it's fun. It's a nice watch while you're playing something else. You can listen to our soothing voices.
do not expect like dice camera action levels of like professionalism. That's not going to happen. Sorry.
Wait, wait. You're not trying to do the Matt Mercer
No, I'm
while
not.
while you're live on Twitch?
No, I'm not.
Wow. Oh, no wonder nobody has followed us. Jeez, man.
To be perfectly honest, with what you see is what you get. So,
Nothing more, nothing less.
yep, it's
Very
exactly
transparent.
what it said. Exactly what it says on the tin. So,
Oh, so last week was my birthday,
hmm,
and I got a bunch of gifts.
happy
And
birthday!
one of those gifts was, thank you. One of those gifts was Tyranny of Dragons, the re-release 5th year anniversary book from Wizards of the Coast.
Yes, please tell me about this.
So I have not read the whole thing, obviously. I do not know
Never
anything about
mind.
the Well, I want something specific. Okay, I don't know if it is because it's the 5-year anniversary of fifth edition, but the book quality is incredible. First of all, it's 2 books in one. So you have Rise of Tiamat and Horde of the Dragon Queen. They did an excellent job of giving you a overview for both adventures. It's level 1 through 15.
Which I might want to add for some reason because I was looking at the other adventures. Those seem to be the only adventures that tie in directly into one another.
Yeah,
Which is so
yeah.
weird. But anyways, go on.
But dude, the paper that they used this time around on that book is ridiculous. I thought that the pages were stuck together. That's
But it's
how
just
thick.
like
That's how
it's.
thick it is.
Did you have like a?
Each
Did you have
each
like?
each page is like this gorgeous, like heavy stuck matte paper that makes the ink almost shiny.
Did you have like an American Psycho like
Oh, oh,
breakdown?
oh yes. Oh God,
Oh
it's even embossed.
yeah, eggshell.
Pretty much. It's incredible. It's if the book feels so incredible. It's both books. It's all laid out. It even says on the introduction that a lot of they list to thousands of feedback from the original 2 books and it made changes. They didn't lay out all the edits on it. Like there's not like a page that tells you like, hey, this changed to this or anything like that.
That would probably be something that you'll have to like painstakingly go through the originals and this one.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Which for me, who didn't play the original and always heard that the originals were a little rough at the edges,
Yeah, it was like
I
it was like kind of the first ones, weren't they?
yeah. Which I mean, it's expected, whatever. But like, I never played them, so having that noted, and I'm just like, I'm just, oh, okay, that's nice to know. I'm glad you guys fixed it. I don't care because I know some people are very uh, looking forward to have like almost like a page to page of like what was changed and from what to what. And I'm just
Mm.
like, why? Just read it, like
They want patch notes.
yeah, pretty much. And I'm just like, nah, dude, just buy it. It's like, oh, the cover's beautiful. Obviously, it's one of those Hydro 3X. I forgot his. I need to remember his the artist who makes the limited edition covers. It's gorgeous. The only thing is, oh, they also changed the paper, and I think I mentioned this for Avernus. The cover doesn't. It's not a finger grease magnet anymore like it used to be.
Yes, you told me about that. It's like cleaner.
You, yeah, you can actually use it because every time I use my Volos guide, I feel like I have to clean it every time after I'm done using it because it's just all my fingerprints, all my hand grease. I even like wash my hands before opening it or before using the book, and it still has all my skin oils like
Ugh.
vividly everywhere. Yeah, it's disgusting. So they changed the cover paper too. The only thing I noticed, and I think it might be something they're trying to figure out, is that the artwork is printed just slightly off. Like you can tell it's an error, but it's
Mm.
not like a one-time error. Like all the books are like that. Like they're just you can tell like, oh, this was supposed to be center, but it's kind of like a little bit to the left. Like so, whatever. I'm sure as more limited editions come out, um, they'll fix that. But the book is phenomenal. I recommend anybody who hasn't played the original 2 to pick it up at your local store so you can support small stores. Um, actually, you cannot get it anywhere else but on your local gaming store. So there's that. Yeah, and I was just quickly reading through it, and it's the original adventure of all the cultists trying to raise Tiamat and craziness that happens in between.
So,
So
would this be something that you'd be interested in running?
yes,
So, okay. So,
mainly because it's level 1 through 15,
yeah.
and none of us have played up to level 15, so that's pretty exciting.
Yes, we can have another discussion about how Wizard of the Coast is too cowardly to release high level playing.
we can't have one in every episode, Andrew.
Yeah, yes, we can. Damn it.
But yeah, no, I'm thinking of running it probably after Avernus, and it's also a classic. It's a classic D&D adventure. You know, you're fighting a dragon.
Yeah,
Like,
it's literally Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, which is great, and you know that nothing wrong with going back to classics like that.
Oh,
But yeah,
absolutely.
talking about covers and changes. The official artwork for Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons has changed.
Hold on. Before you go any further, everything you told me about the Tyranny of Dragons makes me think, well, now we know where the map budget went. So...
They're cutting costs, man. They're cutting costs. Actually, fun thing. I don't know if you guys have done the Dungeons and Dragons official questionnaire that they released, I think this week.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the questions are very much like, hey, what's important to you? You know, the maps, you know, character, like how important from least to very important, like how important are like character artwork or maps and stuff like that. So I put extremely important for the maps. So yeah, they better listen to my specific.
I actually feel like character artwork can probably take a step back to maps. Personally,
I could see that because I will be okay with like sketches. You know what I mean? Like when they still have like the sketch lines and stuff like that, and it's not too.
yeah, exactly. That way we can kind of like personalize the character a bit.
Yeah.
Know?
Oh, I could totally see that. Like, hey, I can show this to the players without revealing too much about that specific character.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So.
I can totally see that. No, I agree with that. So lower the budget on the character artwork and increase it on the maps, please.
Yes, I'm totally.
We still have to do that episode about maps.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. It's going to be a very intense discussion.
We're going to talk about maps. That's going to be like the Half-Life 3 episode. where it's like, when are they going to come out with that map episode, man? I've been waiting.
Squares versus hexes. What do you pick?
Squares. That's not even a competition.
Hexes, duh. Oh man, but yeah, no squares. Always.
All right, fuck you want to have this argument right here?
No, another episode. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. Have you heard anything about it?
I have heard about it. Apparently, it is supposed to be written, quote unquote, by Rick Sanchez.
Yes.
So and apparently, it's also gonna go into the deep lore as to why he hates bards so much.
Yeah. I personally cannot wait to read the whole damn thing because so it's supposed to be written by Rick Sanchez, but it's not just that. It is his version of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, and there's one part about it I'm really excited about, and that's where they made intentionally bad characters, where they apparently made characters that had substandard stats.
Dude, I can't wait. It's gonna be so ridiculous, and I love box sets just because they look nice on the shelf, but also like they have like cool shit. So I'm kind of hoping that they include like tokens or maps or dice, like some really cool, wacky design dice. That'd be pretty bomb.
Let me look into this because the new Dragon Plus actually did they did release a little bit of info on it. Let's see. So yeah, it is a D&D box set. It's called Chapter 2, Painscape. Let's see. Hold on.
Chapter 1 was pretty good too. It's a comic, and then it has like the adventure on the back, but it was actually pretty funny.
So there's one part called Character Assassination. And it says, creating a collection of less than optimal D&D characters was the pair's first job, and the list was long. weakened core stats, terrible combinations of races and classes, and other flaws that would raise the eyebrows of min-max experts have all been explored. So
Yes.
I am expecting someone that's like, here is an orc that is like charisma based or some crap like that.
I can't wait.
That would be
I cannot.
awesome.
I cannot wait. Um, but yeah, so that's coming out too, November 19th. For all of you that are interested, you can find it on your store, local store, or Amazon.com.
So, but it does, let's see, it does say that it is a box set. So maybe there's going to be dice included. It says it comes with a 44-page adventure and a 64-page rule book.
Right. So yeah, I hope they either include like a fun design dice set, or like maybe since they're going back to like AD&D, like the original dice colors. I just hope they don't do just the same old blue dice that they've been giving out with every box that they make.
And well, I hate to burst your bubble here. I'm looking at the what looks like the contents of the box, and obviously it has preset characters. It has the adventure itself, the rule book, and what looks like a custom D&D screen or DM screen, but I'm not seeing any dice there.
Well, that's fine, I guess. I just cry myself to sleep again.
It's not like we need more dice. So
I want more dice. Why are you trying to oppress me?
because you have a problem.
I have two. Yes, I have a problem. That'll be another episode. Andrew, quick, write down these ideas.
When we talk about Jose's crippling dice addiction.
Yes,
he didn't make rent this month.
Why? How does he spend so much money on dice? They're not that expensive. They are if you buy plenty.
Or if you get the stainless steel ones. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's expensive dice out there. Hold on.
Oh, dude, the obsidian dice from Wyvern Wood or whatever the hell that's called. The one I sent you, they're black.
Oh my god.
Oof, $90 though. But God, I wouldn't even roll them. I'd be afraid they'll break.
Hold on. Let's see what the most expensive polyhedral dice are. Holy crap!
What is it?
They have dice made from mammoth ivory.
How? Why?
Holy mammoth ivory. That's how much they are. Just take a shot. How much they are.
Ivory.
No,
I'm gonna go with
ivory.
mammoth ivory. I'm gonna go with a low guesstimate of $250.
No. Try $2,176.
At that point, would you even play with them? Like,
no, those would not touch a table.
there'll be like a really expensive dice tray just for those, made of ivory too.
Just to give you an idea how much more expensive it is, there are gold dice on this list, and they're not the most expensive ones.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That just made me sad. I want
it. gotta have that mammoth ivory.
Because is mammoth ivory like common? Like, can you just like? No, I know that it's expensive because it's not common, but like, can you like? How do you get the resources, the raw material to make those dice?
Wouldn't imagine they're common, seeing how mammoth have been extinct for like thousands of years.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, how do you, out of all the things people will make out of mammoth ivory, which, by the way, anything made out of ivory is just fucking cruel, and I hate it. But mammoth,
I mean, there's a lot of moral quandaries of that in of itself.
Yeah, like mammoth ivory. Oh, let me go to mammoothivory.com and buy me a tusk so I can make some dice.
There is one though that is made out of meteorite and tungsten steel.
I've seen those. They look pretty bomb.
Yes, It's only $1,200.
That's fine. I don't need to pay rent.
Yeah, that's fine. Who needs rent when you have dice?
I'll be sleeping on the street just hugging this little bag of dice. Oh man.
That just means I need to stay fully invested in my fantasy world.
Yeah, exactly. Less distractions.
Yeah, duh. Thanks. All this stuff like running water and air conditioning was getting in the way.
Oh man. Uh,
What are we talking about?
it led good quality components and it led to dice. But enough with that. Uh, going back to it was my birthday last week. We celebrated it at one of our players' house. And we had a unofficial, a talk of opportunity game day, and it was pretty fun.
Yes, it was, and there was so much wine being drank that day.
Because we're classy players, we drink wine, to be more precise.
It eventually got to the point, and I felt really bad. It eventually got to the point that they just refilled the sangria jug and just put it next to me.
You have a problem, my friend.
It was really good.
Well, we definitely want to thank Heather for hosting. We played a bunch of board games. We played, for the first time ever, we played Shadows over Camelot with 6 players.
Yes.
And we lost. Wait,
Yes.
did we lose? Yes, we lost.
Yes, we lost hard.
Yes. For you guys that don't know what Shadows over Camelot is, it is a worker placement with a trader element in it. For some reason, even though it's completely random, and there's even a chance that there's no trader in the mist, I'm always the trader.
You're always the trader. But okay, so just to give a little bit more explanation to people that probably don't know what all that jargon was that you just shot out there, it's essentially a game where it's a player versus the board game scenario. Where like you were playing as Knights of the Round Table and you had to go on quests to get stuff like Excalibur and the armor of Lancelot and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you're trying to hold off like barbarian raids, and it's really stressful.
Very stressful.
It's a really stressful game, and it's a lot of time management.
There's also a lot of ways to lose, and there's only one way to win.
Yes.
And to add a little bit more stress and anxiety to the myth, there's a chance that there could be a traitor within the players that is working against everybody else.
Right. And until before he gets accused, he has to kind of be really subtle about sabotaging the game. And there was a point where we were literally blaming everybody. Like, no one can be trusted here. It became like a weird board game version of a Mexican standoff where we're all just like looking at each other and stuff like that.
It was great.
Awesome.
And the fact we were up on each other's throat, and the thing is that there was a chance that there was no traitor. That's the thing about the game. There's a chance that there's no traitor and everybody's just fine. But it just drives you insane and you can't trust anyone.
And the game punishes you for being wrong about who's a traitor.
Yes.
That's the thing. So you have to have like hard evidence that this guy's a traitor. You have to like build a case for it.
Needless to say, it got really loud.
So it got so loud and it got so chaotic. Oh my god, we were broken by the end of that game.
The sangria didn't help.
Like I'm pretty sure all the couples had a long talk with one another after that.
Bro, my girlfriend straight up accused me from the beginning, so I don't know what you're talking about. She was trying to convince everybody that I was a traitor.
Teresa shot me a look that's like, if you don't accuse Jose right now, we are going to have a talk.
You're saving the couch tonight.
I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Oh man, no, it was good. We played that. We played Betrayal of Baldur's Gate, which It was fun, but man, I wish we would have played that first because I always forget that there's a whole thing in the middle that somebody becomes the DM and somebody becomes the player, and it's just annoying. It's a good game, but if you happen to do the omen, that it's there's a chance that it could get really interesting, but there's also a chance that it could end in like 2 seconds.
I think the main problem that we had with Betrayal at Baldur's Gate was it wasn't bad. We all had fun. But I think the main problem with it was that we had just played a game that had a traitor element to it.
Yeah,
So it was kind of like not so much like more the same, but it was very similar.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we
And
probably
then we play Friday the 13th,
yes.
which is a great game. I just didn't know how long it took, man. I thought it was shorter than that.
It's not Friday the 13th. It's hold on. Hold on. I
Oh,
have it's
last Friday.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which
essentially Friday the 13th. It's
it's
like
Friday.
legally distinct Friday the 13th. Let's not lie.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's essentially one player is the killer who wants to kill all the teenagers in this camp, and then everybody else is the teenager, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot longer than I remember it, and because of that, we couldn't finish it because we had to leave.
Well,
We had
well,
to,
cause, well, 'cause the thing about it is that it's 4 chapters long,
yeah,
right? And each chapter the rules change, so you're essentially
right,
learning the game 4 times.
yeah, I
So,
guess,
it's always that game is like the definition of it gets easier once you know the rules, you know.
yeah,
So, but then
but
but
yeah.
then but yeah, we after that we parted ways, and then we had
Wait,
a
before
what
before we parted ways, though, we forgot to talk about the real MVP of the party, though.
pesto.
Heather's pesto. Holy crap!
Oh my god.
I was
Whatever
almost eating that by the spoonful, man.
whatever she I remember very vividly. I told Teresa, like, do you want anything? She's like, no, it's okay. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just throw away the plate. And as I'm going to throw the plate away, I see the pesto. I'm like, I can get more.
Dude, I had so many passing bites because I kept going to the fridge to like get water or drink or whatever, and every time I went by, I just grabbed a piece of bread and put pesto on it. It was so
Well,
good.
Heather, let me tell you, whatever you're doing as a job, you need to stop. You need to start jarring the stuff up.
And sell it.
Yes. Go to your local farmer market.
Yeah, yeah. You will make a bank.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so good.
It was the only thing that held our group together during Shadows over Camelot.
The pesto kept us sane.
It was the glue that held this group together.
Yes. Oh God, it was so good. And then we had red and white sangria, which I like the white sangria better.
I personally like the red, but
Well, that's because you're wrong.
okay, all right. You want to have this argument? Is this what we're doing?
It's
Is this
a different episode. Different episode.
a talk
Attack of
opportunity
opportunity.
debate?
Yeah, but no, it was over. It was a really good day. Again, thanks Heather because she put up with our crap, and invited us to her house. Um, After that, we left. We went back home. Luckily, Andrew lives really close to my parents' house, which is where I was staying, uh, because of reasons. And then we ended up playing Tokaido, right?
Oh my god, dude! Takedo was like low key the highlight for me.
I
Like
really loved that game.
I had never felt so calm. Like it was. I would almost say it was like a Zen experience for me playing that game. No, seriously, because I was like, oh, there's just no conflict. There's no.
Yeah,
Oh wow, this
yeah.
is
No,
this is so
I completely
relaxing.
agree. And it has a really good mechanic of like you can't. It's not advantageous for you to go first,
Oh,
and
it had
it's you know what I
gone.
mean. Like you didn't want to rush through things. You wanted to experience as much as you could.
It's very very laid back, and it almost kind of punishes the player for being hasty.
Yeah,
And I just, oh god, I fell in love with that game.
It's a really good game, and the box is really nice too. Of course, I
Artwork is
lost. By the way, if anybody's listening to this and have never played a board game with me, I always lose. I am the Will Witten of my group. I always lose.
that's not true.
Dude, when have I won a game? Other than when I'm the trader because I just win by default.
But yeah, so you still win.
Yeah, but it's like it's not because I was trying. It's because you guys suck at like finishing the game.
I was actually surprised that I won that game because whenever there's a game that has like a point system like that, Teresa always crushes it.
Dude, Kristen is also like that too. Like they're just vicious. You want to get
Like,
those points.
like it's something where it's like, okay, so Jose has 56 points, Andrew has 67 points, Kristen has 73 points, and Teresa has 183. What in the fuck?
Yeah. The board doesn't even go that high.
Yeah, we had to circle around. We had to make our own scoreboard for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I know some people can see the matrix and know like all the things. I just like to experience the game. Maybe that's why I always lose because I don't want I don't want conflict with anybody.
And we definitely because I remember you always told me how you always wanted to play Takedo with like sushi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And oh my god, that needs to happen. We need to have like a Zen day.
just like all kinds of like oolong tea and like fruity teas, green tea, and like a big platter of sushi and then Tokaido in the middle of the board.
Oh, it needs to be like sushi and sashimi, and we need to play like games that have no like conflict like that, and just like.
And then we have to have like that bamboo water thing that's in like Japanese anime that like fills with water and it just goes click, and it comes back up, and then it fills with water again and just click. You know what I'm talking about?
Got to have a little Zen garden. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We need that. Yeah, man. No, it was a good day. I mean, man, I think my favorite board game right now, I think it has to be freaking Shadows over Camelot. It's just so good.
That board game, it's what's it to me? Yeah, no, we've all fell in love with it. Like that's something it's almost required at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Like whenever we meet up, like we playing Shadows of Camelot.
Are we gonna beat it this time? I think the only time we won was because we decided to play without a trader. So we all kind of knew that there wasn't like anything going on like that.
So the one time we won, we had to cheat.
Yeah, pretty much. It's an excellent game. It's not that expensive. Well, it's out of print right now, so it's probably really expensive right now.
It's really expensive.
but we have contacts in the industry. Next year is the 15th anniversary of the game. So there's a chance that they might release like a special edition with like the expansions and everything. So
the expansion, that's what's it? Merlin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
You can play as Merlin. Yeah. No, I'd recommend it 100%. 100% every time.
I would probably say though, the only game more stressful than Shadows over Camelot is probably Pandemic.
No, dude, you're wrong. The Grizzled.
Can we not talk about that?
I hate the Grizzled only because I need to beat it.
Yeah, you have like an obsession. I'm never bringing that game near you again.
You want to explain what the Grizzled is?
Okay, so the Grizzled, it's a card-based game where you essentially play as French soldiers during World War One, and it is crushingly difficult. Like we have played. I would say probably about what, like a dozen games,
bro.
Of that,
more than that.
Not once have gotten even close to winning.
Well, no, that's not right. That's not correct. Here's the thing about the game, in my opinion, is that actually, yeah, we haven't gotten close to winning. But the thing is that as soon as you lose, you want to replay it again because you're like, oh, if we do this differently, if we like okay, next time we just don't do this and try to do this. Like instantly in your brain, like if you know for sure that if you do what you're thinking at that moment, you're gonna win. But then you play again.
It doesn't.
It's also a really short game. You play again and you don't win. And then you lose again, and you start thinking instantly about like how to win next time, and then you're like, oh, I have the perfect plan, and then you try to play it again, and then you lose again, and it's a vicious cycle that never ends, and I'm gonna go insane if I don't ever actually win that game.
Which is why that game has never seen the light of day again. I bought that game because I was like, oh, it's World War One, and it has like this awesome like storybook artwork. I was not expecting it to beat me into the ground with its difficulty. like how many times have we looked up how to play this game? Because I'm like we're overlooking something.
Oh yeah, because the other thing is it's a French game, so we always thinking that the rule translation is not correct, and we're doing something wrong because we're losing so badly, and it seems almost impossible. But then you like look up the rules, and they're correct, and you're like, there has to be a way to win, and you just can't. And the thing is that it's players versus the board again. But you just can't win. It's just never ending, and I'm never gonna win that game.
And there has, dude. I honestly don't think we're ever gonna win. like
I have friends. Have friends tell me that they've beaten the game, and I do not believe it. They're all filthy liars. I want to see it in real life.
I need to see the tapes.
Pictures of it didn't happen. Yeah. Well, anyways, so yeah, it was a really fun board game day. Woof! I got a little worked up there for a second.
Yeah, calm down. Take a breath.
I black out every time I hear the grizzled. Man,
that's like that's like what's it? Teresa asked, like, should we bring the grizzle for board game day? I'm like, don't you ever mention that name again.
If you would have brought that game on Saturday, we would have played that over and over again. Because I'm the birthday boy, and we play what we want.
That was good. Yeah, I knew exactly why. Because I'm like, and the thing about it is, it's a tiny little game. Because all it is just essentially a deck of cards, and this teeny tiny little box is just gonna throw away like all the efforts that we had. No, I'm not. No. All right.
Yeah, no. So remember, kids, Matt Mercer is a cool dude, but you cannot be Matt Mercer. You can only be yourself.
That being said, don't stop trying to improve, but also remember that this is your table, not Matt Mercer's table.
Yes.
So,
yes, 100%.
As long as everyone at the table is having fun,
then it's okay.
It's okay.
Oh man! Thank you all for joining us at our what is this? The fourth episode? Third episode.
I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Third episode of A Talk of Opportunity. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're not very active there, but you can see when we go live on Twitch. Also, twitch.tv/A Talk of Opportunity. Our YouTube channel. If you it's usually all Attack of Opportunity, and you can find us. Keep up to date on Instagram. I'm doing now Let's Plays, so you can join me Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I'll be playing some sort of game on Twitch. We also stream our D&D sessions live on Twitch, but that date floats around, so you're gonna have to bear with us there, just because it's D&D, and I'm sure you know how D&D works. It's never the same day.
It's D&D, and we all have our own personal schedules, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So at the time of this recording, however, we will be playing Wednesday.
Yes, that is the 6th of November. Remember. No, that's the 5th.
That's close enough.
Yes, the 6th of November. And come join us. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen to our podcast.
However, don't expect any sessions anytime soon because Death Stranding comes out this weekend.
No, Andrew, we can do both.
No, no, we can't.
Yes, you know I'm gonna beat that game like this Saturday after, right?
Oh, I severely no.
I already got my adult diapers.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Everything D&D, board games, and gaming. Yo, guys, have a good night. Keep adventuring.